Okay. Good evening, folks. Going to call the meeting to order here at 7:04 on Tuesday, July 19th. Here at 1 Academy Street at the town offices. The first item on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and join us. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda review.
Is there any issue with that microphone?
Let's see. Highway, I want to add paving update.
Yeah, they're gonna see exactly that what you're seeing.
And did we get that paperwork today from the engineer for the Palm Shore culvert?
No, I didn't get anything.
We're supposed to have it to me by noon today, but, well, I'll put, under highway, we'll put the Palm Shore culvert. I'll work back. See if I can find it. Executive session, personnel. I think that's all I've got. Anybody have anything else?
I'd like to add the ask from the planning commission.
Okay. It's Newtown business probably, I would say. Yeah. A planning commission.
And the ask from Mr. Clark.
Okay, we'll do that E then. And that's Rex / Well Valley Rail Trail. Okay, anything else more?
I have nothing else.
Okay, Earl, anything to add?
Just under economic development, finally I've got a meeting scheduled with the city St. Albans representative and one from St. Albans Town and
Okay,
Tim Smith,
Yep.
this Thursday.
okay, alright. Kathy, anything?
I'm good, thank you.
Those of you good? Had anything to add? We're all good to go, perfect. Oh. Agenda review. I hear a motion to approve the minutes from the July 6th regular meeting.
Second.
Second on that, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Public comment, anybody got anything to comment on that's not on the agenda?
Just something quick.
Yep.
Since we had that cannabis meeting, we've heard nothing else about it. Is that still coming to the town area?
I haven't heard any more about it yet. I don't really know. They don't. I haven't heard any more.
I know, sure, just thinking it'll draw more business for the community, you know?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from one.
Law enforcement, that's the animal control report, and I think there's a separate leaflet I saw here somewhere, there's one little thing on there. Yeah.
Oh, are you skipping law enforcement?
No, we're on it.
No, there isn't, only thing that's under there tonight is the animal control.
Well, I know that, but we all saw the email of that.
Oh, yes, yep.
I think that merits some discussion, don't you?
Yeah, it does, and I don't know why that's not in here, but
Well,
we probably.
it's because we're missing our.
Yeah, that's alright, there's got a lot going on, so. I'm just checking to see if it was in here.
Yeah, I had a question on it.
Mhm.
They were talking like $800 or something.
Yeah,
Is that
that'd
a
be fine.
month extra or a
I think
week?
that's per week.
Per
I
week?
think it was 10
10
or
hours,
15 hours, so.
10 or 15,
So
right?
whatever that equates if that's a week or 10 hours a month, whatever, it comes out the same.
So 10 hours would be the $800.
Yeah, let me find the email.
Is that for the speed control for radar?
It was for extra coverage enforcement
In
than
the town.
preferably
That was in
speed control.
the discussion last.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm trying to find the
probably
email.
specifically for daytime.
Is
Probably
that the Palm Shore area and stuff?
Well, that would be, it'd be everywhere.
Was it?
You know,
Yeah,
they
okay.
split up. It wouldn't be all committed to
Well, I
one
know
area.
Canada Street's a problem too.
That's the-
Oh, yeah, it would.
Everywhere is probably.
Yeah.
In the evening, when they're coming home from work and in the morning.
It's a
'Cause I'm out
nationwide
on the
issue.
porch having a coffee and
I have the email.
You have it,
Yeah.
go ahead, cause I
When they
can't
hit my
find it
house,
right
it's going
in
50
front of me.
miles an hour.
I found one.
And they don't even stop at the stop sign.
10 hours of
Down,
additional.
right now, you know?
Of course, that's gonna be This coverage that we're talking about is gonna be strictly for the town, nothing to do with the village.
Nothing to do with the village?
nothing to do with
No, it
villages.
would not,
That
that's
would
right,
be-
it would not be in the village, it would be for the town.
That would be the village trustees to deal with that.
10 hours of additional coverage would cost $795.60, and 15 hours would cost $1,193.40.
And we're assuming that's monthly, 10 hours extra a month. That's the only thing that doesn't really say in there.
Yeah,
That's not much.
well, I
coverage for
would
speeding.
say, I mean, that's.
I know, but it's
We
something
have
to
to ask
start.
them if that's.
We gotta stay within the budget we have,
I
that's
know
the problem.
that,
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, we don't have a budget
Right,
for
it's gonna
extra
be over.
coverage for the PD, so. I don't know where the money would come from, but.
What was the number for the 10 hours?
Earl will donate,
$795.60.
right, Earl?
Yeah.
So if you do the math quickly,
Mhm.
it would be $19.875. If you
Yeah.
divide 795 divided by 40, so that's $19 for a month. It would be $19.80
No, I don't think you're gonna get,
Oh,
per hour.
Yeah.
So it has to be
Yeah.
per week.
yeah. No, if you divide 10 into that, it comes out to whatever, is that $79 an
It's
hour,
hard,
that comes out to
but the
be.
benefits is probably
Yeah.
79 something.
Yeah.
yeah,
Now, is that something that's gonna be,
We're just talking about, we haven't voted on it.
no, but like for, when the new budget comes out, adding on for extra, you know,
We've talked about it, it's a lot of money. When it comes fall budget time again, I think it's something we can discuss again.
I think, yeah, I'm just,
It's a tough situation, this speeding issue is us, it's shit. Someone told me last night, officer, that it's a nationwide issue, it ain't just us, it's everywhere, there's not enough law enforcement, there's not enough cops out there. It can only be so many places at once.
right,
but this proposal is considerably less, tax impact than what we were looking at during budget time. You know, cause they were talking a full officer, another car. This may be, even though it does in all fairness, it said they'd have to, the people, the present officers would have to volunteer to do overtime to get these hours. So I don't know, how that would work.
Yeah, I don't know, was that straight time or out overtime hours?
It's kind of implies overtime, doesn't
It
it?
does imply overtime. The only
Yeah.
issue to have is that it would be an overtime basis for full-time officers.
And they'd have to volunteer to do it.
Yeah, so, I'm just gonna round it off to 800, so.
well, they should have a problem with somebody wanting to stop people and give them tickets. One thing, I gotta stop issuing all these warnings,
Yeah.
especially doing 30 miles an hour over the speed limit.
Yeah. Yeah, so if we paid 800, just might as well round off to $800 a month, that's $9,600 a year more. If you're gonna do that for a 12-month period.
Yeah. Well, we can't do it for 12 months.
No, I know, and I think we need to look at the budgetary money before we
Yeah.
talk about the
Well, that's one thing. The other thing
Find out
is,
where
I
the money's
guess,
come from.
I would like to ask the chief, to see if his officers would be willing to do this too. We don't know about that. He doesn't say that in there. He said you have to explore that option.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see how feasible it is on that end, and we can take, even if we only did it for a couple months.
For the summer months.
Yeah,
Right,
the
that's
worst
most,
yeah,
that's most of the,
yeah.
more traffic.
Then it would only, it wouldn't have a major impact. I think we could find that much money somewheres for a couple months. But they gotta make sure that they have officers that are gonna be willing to do it too. It doesn't really say that in there.
But once the word gets out there, doing more enforcement, it's gonna slow the people down, I think.
Generally, it does.
But you can't fix stupid.
But I remember a former select board member really wanted patrols out there. Speeding was bad. They picked him up.
How do you like it then?
I think he slowed down.
I found that email, he did send it at 11 o'clock, apparently he did tag you in it, about the Macomb Shore culvert.
Okay.
I'll forward it to you.
Do you want me to print it out so you can review it?
If, when you have a minute, yeah. If I can find it, I'll get it.
Well, I would like to nominate Ed to talk with the chief to find
Well,
out.
that would be Mark, Mark's
Mark's
our-
okay, yeah,
our,
alright.
Police commissioner.
Just to find out if he has officers that are interested in doing that, and if they are, then, maybe we should try it, for,
I just sent to Kathy.
I second that.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
about to
we
say
can
that.
discuss, have that discussion with Mark.
yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. We need to talk about that part, so. Alright, so we can have a discussion with Mark, see if he can reach out to the chief and talk to him. Old Town business update on MBU sidewalk project with Daphne. I saw her here somewhere, there you are.
I'm here.
How are we doing?
So it was nothing for animal control?
Just one thing, did we skip over it?
Yeah.
Yeah. well,
Yeah, that was only one instance, we went out
Oh,
for
you're
$60.
okay.
You're okay.
No, you're good, come sit down, it's
I know
fine.
that can.
I didn't know if I missed it or not because Earl started and
No,
you
skinny
know how
dog.
Earl is.
Yeah, I think we've kind of missed it. There's really nothing important.
So I'm not sure if Brian included the proposed project schedule.
Yeah,
your
I can say
packet.
something on page 5 here, so.
Well, I printed it out big, that
Oh
whole
my.
thing. So
Yours is better
big
than
and in
this.
color.
I think I forgot my glasses in the truck and we'll leave that.
So, just to remind us of where we've been at the June 21st select board meeting, the board approved moving forward with TCE and with their scope of work and budget contingent upon the select board seeing a schedule. So that's what you have in front of you right now is the schedule from TCE on all the remaining tasks that would be included in the scope of work that they proposed for you. In green are the tasks that would be on Trudell, on TCE. In the magenta are items marking periods that V-Trans has review and approval of deliverables before they could move forward with the next steps. And anything that's crossed out has already happened, what they showed, just to give you an idea of the full scope. Generally, let me just give you a moment to look over and then I'll do some highlights on the schedule. So in general, what they've outlined is that preliminary plans, also called the 60% plans, would be submitted to V-Trans by the end of August, so that next month. Right-of-way plans, which build upon the preliminary plans but include measurements and include all the both temporary and permanent easements that would be needed, is the next phase, and they have those being submitted at the end of September. Then the next major step they have from the end of November through the end of February 2023 is negotiations with any impacted landowners where you need permanent or temporary easements. I will say that this is the one area V-Trans looked at the schedule and they said it looked good. That was their one area where they just cautioned that sometimes you can't control the timeline on that. So that could be one area. V-Trans said that'd be great, that'd be a great schedule, but it is dependent on securing those easements. And then the other thing I will just note is what Trudell has outlined is releasing the invitation to bid in April of 2023. That's the earliest that they were comfortable proposing.
Yeah.
I think as you get closer, you need to have that discussion of that's the worst time to release a bid.
It really is, yeah.
So I just wanted to let you know that, chances are there could be something in the right of way that would push you further anyway. But they wanted to give you what they could do on their end. And that's what
Okay,
they
my
presented.
question would be, you can't change the design, someone is gonna, if there's an issue with the right of way, you still can't change the design can you, or can you?
No, I don't think, where the sidewalk's gotta go where it's gotta go because of the right of way, the state road, it can only be so many feet off the road.
That's what I'm assuming,
Yeah.
so if that's the case, then they could still do everything and still meet this schedule, but we may not be able to go out and bid.
Yeah, and
Everything would be ready to go, as soon as we straightened out the right of way issue.
Correct, and there's
Okay.
some, during the right of way, the consultant wouldn't finalize the plans if the easements are still out there. Because there can be some tweaks of the design. You're not gonna change the side of the street, you're not gonna change, where the sidewalk's going, but sometimes I've seen cases of, narrowing the sidewalk just a little bit to avoid, a certain impact.
Yeah.
There's minor things that can happen.
Yeah, that wouldn't be something that would take forever.
Yeah, no, you're not going to be doing a major redesign,
And the
wood
thing is,
anywhere, this is wood.
if you're gonna go out to bid in May, that means you're not gonna receive bids till the end of June. By the time you sign a contract and everything else and proceed, you're gonna talk in July. There's no way that project's gonna be complete next year, that late in the season, so. I guess we just ride it out and see where, hopefully it comes out all right, and then we'll make that decision when we get to the end, and we're gonna put it out to bids, because like you said, that's the worst time to put something out bids, because the price will be sky high.
Yeah.
Everybody's already booked for the year, so
Yeah.
you're gonna pay big bucks, you want something done.
They put 4 months, well, actually more than that, right-of-way plans, that's 6 months on that.
No, it's actually 4.
Yeah, it's
There's 2
November,
columns for
February.
each month.
Yeah, but your right-of-way plans up here, oh, this is completed, okay.
Yeah, there's 2
Not
different
even
things.
crossed out yet.
No,
Right away
but there's,
plans, and then they have to make a plan of where the actual right of way is gonna lay,
and then there's.
and then they
submitting
gotta
to
proceed
B-Trans,
with the
and then they're
actual-
working on all the easements.
working on all the
landowners.
properties they across.
But if it went really well and they cut 2 months off this right-of-way thing.
Yep.
Yep.
uh,
Oh, yeah, it's possible, Earl, I mean, it's
Yeah.
possible, yeah. Yeah,
And
I
what-
certainly, I think February is probably the latest you wanna get it out to bid, you really,
If you're gonna do
if
something.
you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's not, that's a reasonable amount of time.
And I think there are some things, that right of way easement negotiation, the design engineer is there for technical questions, but really, that is when the select board and me supporting you, are really in the driver's seat as
Yeah.
far as how accommodating we are, as far as meeting with property owners, answering questions. So that's out of Judel's hands, and is really on
Yep.
all of us around this table, to make that happen. And we'll know, once the right-of-way plans are formulated, we'll actually know, how many property owners are we talking about?
Yep.
I know that the feasibility study, scoping study, there's 16, I think, individual property owners, something like that, along the whole,
Yeah.
the whole project, but there
I
is.
think it's about 5 or 6 that are actual homes that are gonna be the
Yep.
issue, so.
And a lot of times, the state right of way is quite wide.
Yep.
So, hopefully we can minimize those impacts as much as possible.
Okay, that sounds good to me. So a good time one. Ed, you got a question?
Yes, a comment and then a question. I hadn't planned on this, but
Yep.
it's nice that we're both together here tonight.
Yep.
I drove that road to work up there
Couple
for
of years, right?
33 years.
Yep.
I don't know how many dances, basketball games, and what have you I went to. I don't know how many times I put kids in my car if it was snowing or raining and took them home.
Yep.
I was on the first study committee that looked about building a sidewalk up there. That was only 200,000 at that time.
Yeah.
And here we are, I've been retired for 20 years now, and we're still talking about it. I have one question. Has anybody ever asked the students which way they would prefer to use the frontage road and then the new school driveway up through that way?
We did.
We did that when we went through this whole process, what, four-ish years
We
ago?
did it actually between this one, after the feasibility study was done,
Yeah.
as part of the implementation application.
We had 3
We
or
interviewed.
so public meetings over it.
And we actually
discussion.
sent a survey to NDU students.
Yep. The thing was that driveway wasn't there when we did this. There was
That's right.
only a trail up through the woods, and nobody felt comfortable with that trail going through the woods, cause it was just a crappy trail going through the woods.
Well, that could
So-
have been resolved with a couple of streetlights up through there. Yeah, that's no budget killer.
Yeah,
But now you have that second way.
But they,
And, excuse me, Jim.
no, go
I'll
ahead,
finish
you're
then.
good, you're good, go ahead.
But as long as you keep it on Route 7, or 78, from that intersection with the frontage road up.
Yep.
Those students are not that far from a car coming over the sidewalk and getting them. That is damn close, especially in the wintertime.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe it's time to throw this, take this, and I'm sure it's wonderful work.
Yeah.
But times have changed. As to say, this is not, here we are 20, 40 years and it's still not done. And maybe look at that frontage road and that access up through there very seriously for the safety of our students. Thank you.
You're welcome, man. But I'll just say, I don't wanna keep going back and forth, but we already spent months and months and months on
I know
this
that.
project. It's already, the ball's already rolling in the right direction. Everyone has their own opinion, and I appreciate your opinion, but we're already, halfway through the project, so how do we throw away the $60,000 we already spent and scrap it and start all over again? I don't agree with that, so, but I respect your opinion. Okay. Anything else on that, anybody?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm satisfied with the timeline.
Mhm.
I'm hoping it's gonna be sooner, but,
Yep.
I mean, I think it's reasonable. I don't know, it's not just my decision, but.
Yep.
Because we
No, I
have,
think that's very reasonable.
so do we make a motion now that we are going to fully accept it, or how should we word it now? Because
Well, we
before had-
voted before to accept it with the condition that we had a timeline, so,
Do we make a motion
We
to
can-
accept the timeline?
Yeah.
there you go, sounds good to me, I'll take a motion to set the timeline, give them.
I will make a motion to accept the timeline presented by TCE in regards to the MVU sidewalk project.
I'll second it.
Okay, any other discussion on that? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Alright.
Opposed, ayes have it.
So what I'll do with this motion being passed is that I will notify TCE, giving them the notice to proceed.
Yep.
As we develop the contract, and just have all the regulations in. So the next thing that you see, they'll get started, but the next thing that the board will see, and I'll send it through Brian, is
Yep.
just the finalized contract.
Okay. Sounds good.
Excellent.
Yep.
Right, have a great rest of the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Getting off the hook easy.
Oh, well, I feel like I've earned it.
Then you're enough with it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Newtown Business Planning Commission planning grant.
I think Amy just stepped out.
That's okay.
Um,
We can talk about the rec and the Mile Valley Rail Trail thing.
All right, we can
Yeah.
do that first. So I'm coming to you all with some correspondence from Mr. Clark. He's been working with Cross Consulting after our last meeting here. And he is looking for an additional funding to prepare an updated site plan and construction estimate for the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail terminus. Work changes to include things that we've discussed at our last meeting, such as lighting and bathroom. They'll also look at where the water sewer connect is, so they'll have to come back out and spend some more field time and revisit the slate plans that they had prepared for us last time. He's looking for an additional $1,700 to do that. And as well as, after our last meeting, we had talked about possibly continuing the conversation about a rec community center. My work with the recreation department, I have worked with engineers to start the delineation process of the wetlands, which is a large portion of the recreation facility. They have come back and surveyed the land and have prepared some conceptual plans. Using those plans, we'd like to prepare a cost estimate for the select board so we could see what a community center would or could look like based on those plans.
Yep.
So the ask there is for $800.
And I have one more thing that now that I read back the text from Joel. We got a bill from Cross Consulting, Kathy, for
Yes.
$500.
Yeah, 50620.
And that was for what? part?
The engine, I can get it.
That,
It's,
well, he told,
it was
here,
some
I probably have it right
engineering
here.
he did on, I got the copy right here.
Wetland work on the Mile Valley Rail Trail, we're good.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they'd come out and
Yeah,
do the
they
did.
delineation there as
So-
well.
And that's already been
But-
done.
They did some work,
that
some
part
rafting.
for the rail trail, but this is something else to do for the rail trail.
This is an additional ask because they need to update it after,
So I wanted to add that $500 to what you're asking for that, it's basically all the same thing. So we can take ARPA money and pay that and those two things out of there if everybody's good with it.
That's what we're using the ARPA money.
Yeah,
So-
that's, as long as everybody else is good for it, with it,
I am.
I mean, it makes
Or
sense.
did you wanna
That's-
use what we budgeted? Cause we budgeted extra money for the brownfield, we budgeted 12, I think, thousand.
Yeah,
No,
but
it's
that's
like
for the
1800.
Fourth Street
that was for the
property.
Fourth Street property,
Right.
this is for the Lamoille Valley.
We haven't
Trust.
So we're
solved-
actually just.
We haven't solved the whole Fourth Street
Okay.
property thing yet, so let's not spend that until we get that
So
resurrected.
you're gonna make a motion to pay this bill from the ARPA funds and,
Yes,
An additional-
Nicole will make a motion,
well, we'll wait till we find out how much it is, should we, or up to?
for what?
For the additional funding.
Additional $2,500 to complete the other engineering work at the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail as well as the construction estimate for a
And so
community
it's,
center
so
at
it's
the
this bill 5 and then
So
25.
$3,000?
Correct.
Okay.
$3,006.20.
When they get done this, Nicole, does that mean if we want to put this out to bid, we can do it?
Correct.
Well, is he actually gonna give us an actual plan on what will fit there?
So he puts together some concepts on,
Okay.
but now they're gonna go back
Yeah.
and see.
Yeah, he'll give us some ideas, I don't think it's actual ready to go out to bid piece. There might be some more fancy work they gotta go to it, but it's a concept, you got this building at 30,000 square feet or 5,000
It's
square
gonna
feet.
cost us.
It's
X
gonna
amount
cost
of
this much
dollars.
money and it will fit in that section. You know, that's the theory of this.
You know, you're talking about the rec center here now, there's two separate issues.
Two separate things we're doing here. Yeah.
So for the 3,000,
Yeah.
we're getting both of them.
Yes, yeah, and the $500 that
Yeah,
we're
well, I'm
paying for.
25 and 5 is 3,000,
Yes.
so basically we're spending 3,000.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're gonna do the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail
Yep.
plus conceptual drawings
That's right.
for the rec
That's
center.
Correct.
Okay,
Alright, so Nicole's made a motion.
Yeah.
We'll use our
I'll
funds to
second
pay for that, Earl will second it. Any other discussion on that? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Okay, now we're back to the municipal planning. There we go, municipal planning grant,
Go ahead.
and whoever has that.
Yes, we are ready to go.
I heard that. Okay.
We met with Corey Parent last night.
Okay.
We are going to make a motion to accept his services tomorrow night,
Okay,
and we're off and running.
okay,
We've got to solicit people to serve on different committees,
Mhm.
but hopefully we won't have to pull too many people in off the street that
Yep.
will volunteer to come in.
okay,
And we've got to break down into what committees that we want. We know that Southern Growth District is a big one.
yep,
Water, sewer up there, what do we want up there? I mean,
Yep.
we've had it for 15, 20 years now, and we got one small restaurant and a
Yep.
car shop.
Yep.
That's not what we envisioned.
Yep.
So we've got to give some thought to that area.
definitely.
I think there are some other areas that we need to look at. Joint sewer district with St. Albans or city or town. We can't have housing if you don't have sewer, if you don't have water. I don't think there's any way we're gonna pump water or sewer from Swanton all the way up there.
Yeah.
Probably
Costs a
could,
lot of
but it
money,
would be
Yeah,
more than we would want. So we've gotta get some people on these different things. I think we ought to look at agriculture. We ought to look at the growth of the area. Where are we going with some of this stuff? Are we ignoring some big, good spots for industry that we could use for that? I stood there this morning and had a cup of coffee and watched the cars go into that lot across from the village office up there.
Yep.
I had to go to St. Albans later in the day, and I don't know why I went down by where the old St. Albans fire station is, but I did. There's that big building where the INS used to be.
Yep.
Sitting there empty. Why don't we send this lady down to Washington Well, Senator Leahy is still there. Tell him, we got a spot big enough for that up here.
Yeah.
And maybe he'd even be able to, I mean, he's gone in a couple of months. He's been very good to this area.
Yeah.
And maybe he could do something to, at least to get it going. I mean, that's a big area up there. And those are good jobs. I mean, you know, you can say you want another gas station. Well, they're not gonna do this. They're not gonna have those good jobs. That's what's important. Those people now who live in this area are being asked to drive to Burlington and Lord knows where else. I think they'd like to be at home.
Well, hopefully this planning grant and all this discussion will come up
Well,
with some
hopefully
plans to help
something will come
things
from.
progress.
That's one of the areas that's big. I think we need to talk with our schools. What are their plans over the next 20, 10, 15 years?
Yep.
So we should have 5 or 6 major items and then some little ones going along with it.
Sounds good to me.
One of the reasons why I liked meeting with Mr. Parent was his use of the English language. I don't know how many of these planning commission reports and plans I've read over the past 25 years or so. And what do most people do? They open them, they look at them, they say, that's nice, and they put it down. I want to see a book, and I think Mr. Parent is very capable of this, his use of the English language. That somebody might pick it up somewhere, I would think in the development office in Montpelier, hundreds of other places. But where somebody would look at it and say, wow. And sit down and read the thing. And go down through with it.
Well, they're not gonna read it if it's 200 pages, so.
Well, no, not 200 pages, but it can be
Downsize
something.
a little.
I look at something
2 or 3.
maybe the size of this. This is this, and you're gonna have your reading assignment one shortly, James, so you'll be prepared for your test.
Listen, I graduated 29 years ago, I'm done reading.
Anyway, I went to a meeting in Barrie 2 or 3 weeks ago. Probably one of the best ones I've been to in a long time. And what they shared with us, and what they made available. This book is one of the best I've ever read dealing with planning and zoning. Very good. I'm trying to work right now, Brian said there's enough money, go for it, to order a couple dozen of these. Now, I know they were giving them away free down there, but I could only walk by the table and grab 2 or 3 at one time, so many times, you know?
Yep.
But anyway, I've called Amy out to regional planning, maybe she can call down there and get us a couple dozen, I don't know.
Yep.
I want all of you to have a copy. I want the select board to have a copy. I want the trustees, I know that they're not part of this as they used to be,
Yeah.
but we can give them the courtesy of what we're looking at. It's a well-organized book, and when I get them, you'll get a copy. Brian says we've got enough money. I mean, we've got parking ordinances, boom, 1 page. I don't know what's on this page, I can't read it, but this is so nice and it's easy, and it's a good handbook to use for this.
Yeah.
We'll put some in the library, we'll keep some here. The library, they can sign them out. They come here to read it, fine, there's a chair, you don't leave with that book. I mean, we can't get them. So that's where we're at right now. We're ready to go.
So he has to make a motion to approve Cory as the, to help plan.
We'll do that tomorrow night, right?
No, they
Well,
need to.
We need to
Well,
make a
you need to
motion
find
that we're
out.
good with you guys.
You can do that anytime you want.
Only question I have, so his fees are within the budget we have and all that?
Yeah, his
Yeah.
fees, that's.
Yes, he knows what the budget is and
Yeah.
said
Okay.
he is more than willing to work with that.
Okay. Alright.
So you're gonna have a contract with them for that
Yeah.
amount then?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what I asked him before the meeting, that as long as we have the written contract signed, that it's gonna take you X amount of days or months or whatever it's gonna take, the time period, and the amount of money that's not to exceed, and I'm fine with that.
I mean, a lot of it is how far back do we wanna go on some of these graphs and stuff.
We don't wanna go back, we wanna go forward.
Yeah,
My question would be, what is gonna be his, I don't know, what he's gonna do for us in that contract? What specifically are the tasks he's gonna perform.
He's gonna work with the planning commission to help rewrite the plan.
Municipal
the
plans.
plan.
Yes.
Their planning.
Yes,
So that's it, and does it involve extra meetings, things like that? What's involved in it?
it may, I've never been through this process, so it's a learning experience for me. We may have to have a few extra meetings, but we're gonna try to do it, and then he thinks that we can be done by spring.
Wow.
He's gonna be,
He wants to be very aggressive.
Yep, that's good.
and,
Yep.
and he's the person that, you know, if one of us has a question, what's this about? It's his job to go and research,
Yep,
and then bring us.
sounds good to me.
Does he
So-
have a plan for public involvement?
We didn't get into that, but we have one, I have one,
Right.
so.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll have as good as we did.
So,
The last big one was about 15 years ago, we had a big crowd.
so Elizabeth and Amy can write up the contract for us, and I said that you guys can make the motion, I'll sign it if you're all good with it, seeing the absence of Brian, so that way we get the ball rolling.
What is the specific amount?
19.6, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, just say it's not to exceed the whatever money we had, the $19,600. Yeah. So, someone wanna make that motion?
I'll move that we, have Elizabeth and Amy draw the contract with Corey Parent, to work on updating our town plan for amount not to exceed $19,600.
A second.
Okay, second over here, any other discussion on that? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, ayes have it. There, thank you, folks.
You're welcome, been a pleasure.
Big job you got.
Thank you.
Community Economic Development, page 7, looks like we got some.
But it all somehow falls into place.
Oh, it's just a letter. Okay. I got big letters that I don't have in there, Richard. There you go.
How are you?
Good.
Nice job.
Good to see you. Nice to see you as well.
So you have in your agenda packet a, letter
Night, Amy.
Night.
Night.
to,
Good night.
to Judy Bruno. So, Franklin County Industrial Development is writing a grant, Building and General Services, Building Communities Grant, that will help, Green Mountain Knitting. You may also hear it called Palco. Palco is the parent company. They have subsidiaries, including Green Mountain Knitting. Green Mountain Knitting is moving from Milton to one of the old Milan buildings. They have closed. They anticipate being in the new building by the end of the year. I think that's a little aggressive, but that's their goal.
Yep.
So we are writing a grant, or helping them write a grant, for some moving and fit up costs associated with converting the building from its previous use to its new use. So FCIDC would be the applicant, and we would basically pass that money through to Green Mountain Knitting. So what the ask is tonight is a letter of support, which is what's in your agenda packet.
Okay.
We're asking for approval for James to sign the letter on behalf of the select board.
Okay.
So that is that one.
All good for it, you can have other business.
It's a great opportunity. They do some of the work on first responders' uniforms. So it's kind of important.
Yep.
Their hope is, so they were leasing their previous space in Milton, they purchased this property. They are hoping to bring on a second shift. Once they're able to get it situated kind of where they want to, so it's really a great opportunity for Swanton. So, we do need an approval for that. I don't know if you wanna do this separate or together.
We actually have another one, that's why I forgot to add it to the agenda, but basically the same thing. other
So,
business.
you do not have this letter because I didn't know until yesterday whether or not Green Mountain Welding is moving to the old Chase Auto on Route 7.
They purchased the building.
They've purchased the building. They hope to move in by the end of this week. But
Actually, pretty much been done.
yeah, they still
Yeah.
have some work to do. We're working same grant, same thing, FCIDC will be the applicant, pass the money through to Green Mountain Welding. So there is that letter, of support for them as well. Same thing, if we could approve James to sign the letter. James, I will have a hard copy of each for you to sign
Yep.
tomorrow. I'll just,
Okay.
we'll combine, get that,
Yep.
and get that from you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do a copy of the letter, or you want me just to email it to you?
Email it to me and I'll put it on letterhead.
Okay.
There you go.
So just a little background, he has a welding shop now just down the road from me.
Yeah.
Great guys, they
Yeah.
got 5 employees, they do
Yeah.
build buildings and weld everything under the sun. So I suggested that he get with Elizabeth and try to help him up that, he's got a,
No, my
Gotta put
question is,
three-phase
power.
where specifically is this money coming from? Is this a state money?
This is state money.
This
yes.
has nothing to do with the grant program, like community development block grant, right? It's-
Correct, no, this is a much easier, they don't even mind handwritten application, which we've never done, but it's a much shorter application. As is typical, they are usually hugely oversubscribed. The maximum amount you can ask for is 25,000. You typically don't get 25, you get 15 to 10 to 15, but we will ask for 25 if they can justify.
Yeah.
So it's a 1-to-1, so they have 50,000 in expenses.
Now, this is something that is available to most any type of business.
You have to show job retention or creation is the only caveat.
And maybe it might be 1 or 2 or 3 employees, that's it, right? That could be enough to get you to qualify.
Yeah,
For
they-
small, this is specifically for smaller business, even though that other place is bigger, but
Right.
small business can get in this.
We've done Boston Post Dairy, Vermont, Organics Reclamation, which I think is one guy.
Yes.
Might be, that's not true, it's 2 guys. So there are typically, there are some larger, like Calco, but there's no requirements. We have been pretty successful, so, last year I think we got 2 out of the 3 we asked for, and the one we didn't get was actually one for FCIDC, so.
What's the timeline on this?
Applications are due September 10th.
Oh, so
Award,
this is getting
a little bit, but I wanna just have this done and check it off. Because we have like 5, I think, that we're submitting.
when's the award date?
The awards come out pretty quick, they're usually, this is a new deadline, it's usually July, they pushed it back to September, but I'm expecting, awards the end of October, early November. And then you have 2 years to spend the money. You have to have the match at the time of application, but you have 2 years to spend it. Most folks don't take that long.
No, well,
Because they need the money.
You spend money real fast.
Oh, yeah.
Not a problem.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve signing the letter for, we got Green Mountain Knitting and Green Mountain Welding, support of this, grant application to, I guess it's the Department of Building and General Services.
Okay, got a second on that?
Second.
Any other discussion?
Do we need to add that you are
Oh,
signing
yeah,
them?
better have it.
Yeah, and
For me to sign it.
the select board chair, James Gumette, can sign
Offer
the
it,
letter.
Yep. All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay.
And while I have your rapt attention, Green Mountain Knitting will be doing a meet and greet. They'll let us know when that is.
Nice.
Really, we were up there last week or the week before, we did I had Efficiency Vermont come up so that they can look at some energy efficiencies, and they've identified some way right away. Great folks to work with. Swan Valley Cheese, that building is for sale. We've had 4 folks walk through the building. Nothing yet, but the Department of Agriculture is working, so there is a company interested in sheep's milk cheese. I never considered it, but I guess sheep's have milk just like cows and
Of course, they're
goats.
mammals. They're mammals.
Yep.
Vermont cheese is sheep.
The issue is there are not enough sheep in Vermont to produce enough cheese, so they're looking in the region to see if they can get enough sheep milk.
I got a farm for sale if they wanna buy it, put some sheep there,
Yeah.
no problem with that.
So there is interest in Swan Valley, it's just getting from interest to purchase, but there is interest in that.
So it's worth getting the secretary up here to, put a little,
Yeah, he's been involved in the conversations, him and some folks who work for him are working hard to find some sheep's milk for him. The bi-monthly updates Tim has to approve, so you'll get those hopefully by the end of the week.
Okay.
The other thing is, there's two things. Working with a realtor in South Carolina, I think we've been working for a year to find property in Swanton for industrial use. Suggested the old CCR Sales and Service. That didn't work out for one reason or another. But they are working on there is a letter of intent to buy property on Waltham Road. So we will have a new business. Assuming once the due diligence is done, there's no brownfields, and the environmental assessment comes back and there's no other issues, which we don't think there will be, so that property will be sold hopefully by the end of the year and we'll get some
Nice.
industry. She has not said what the business is, it's just, we know it's industrial, she hasn't told me or Bill Val, so working with that. And last but not least, you're gonna hear it before the village trustees, so hopefully Northwest Access doesn't come out. But your meeting always seems to come first, very slowly, but we are seeing some of the phase 2 brownfields assessment on Riviera Hotels and Carlos.
I see them over there today.
They will be over there, so we knew that there was gonna be building materials, lead and asbestos issues, granted because of the age of the building. Rather surprising to me, the lead levels were not high enough for the regulatory concerns, so
Good then.
lead's not an issue. Asbestos is a minor issue.
Yeah.
There's some pipe insulation
Yeah,
and
yeah.
floor tiles, mainly on the first floor and basement. Today, there was a question about whether there was an underground storage tank, underground. That's what they were doing today, was ground penetrating radar. They did find the UST, so Thursday they will be out removing the UST, and then there's one above ground storage tank in the basement, which seems kind of weird to me that it's above ground. They'll be removing those, working with Greta at NRPC. There is a section 108 historic preservation because it is an old building. And there is a substantial impact because the plan is to take that building down. Given the shape of the building, the fact that there's very little historic value left to it, we don't see that there will be any issues through the section 108. The entire report is due the end of August, early September, we're about a week behind. But the plan is to get the building materials timeline first, because we can move forward with that while they continue. There's some soil sampling and outdoor stuff they need to do. So we can get the building portion timeline so that we continue. Don't think the building will come down this year. Man-made, I mean, by us. But after a bit of a lull, there is at least some progress on that building, so.
that's good to hear.
So, and it's all been funded through regional planning, through one fund of theirs or another, so the village has not had to put out any money. So, by public appeal, that the next newsletter is coming out at the end of next week, mid to late next week. If you have anything, I go on your website, find all kinds of fabulous stuff. But if you know of anything that I may not know of, just let me know and get it in there.
Sounds good. Thank you for the updates.
Welcome, thank you.
Okay.
Kathy, I'll get with you on the letters and we'll get James, if you could sign them. We have plenty of time,
She
but
has my stamp too, so
Oh,
it comes
that's-
down to you can stamp
that's
yourself.
because it's gonna get emailed anyway, so yeah, it's probably
Yeah, that's
fine.
fine.
So that's your permission for Kathy to use your stamp.
That's fine. You can stamp them.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Perfect. Anything for me?
No, just wanna remind everybody again that we are gonna have some discussion this Thursday on the Southern Growth District. Basically the things that Ed talked about as a possibility.
What's Thursday?
Thursday with Tim Spale,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
and Dominic Cloud and Jack Ray, and myself. So we'll see, you know, I mean, it is something that is important, but I don't know, you know, it's gonna be a job.
Yeah. Gotta start somewhere.
Gotta start somewhere.
I will mention, the Welcome Center on I-89 southbound, the recommendation that came out in November was for a Northern Gateway, Welcome Center at or north of exit 21. FCIDC, Regional Planning, and the Lake Champlain Islands Economic Development Corporation have sent a letter request to Secretary Flynn requesting that a committee be formed to move that process from the report to some kind of, how do we get this thing done? After some discussion, we opted to recommend that it be on the interstate north of exit 21. The traffic on 78 in that area is pretty heavy as it is, and just for ease and on and off traffic. So just so you know, that's kind of where we were at with that.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, highway. What do we got? Paving. They were hoping us to finish our work on our start of paving tomorrow, but the plant broke today and they gotta move their equipment from Barry all the way up here to pave Wheel Round. So they should, I'm guessing probably Thursday-ish, they're gonna start paving Wheel Round and then they're gonna pave P.E.G Road.
You're not, are you still paving on Campbell Bay Road?
No, we didn't have the money. Yep, not this year. You got a new culvert out there today though.
Yeah, they got it all done.
Yeah. They
Little
did.
bumpy, but.
Well, they were actually they went to get the tire and the plant was broke down, so they couldn't get it to backfill it, so they have to do it tomorrow. Yeah,
I slowed down.
yeah, last day.
I got a warning.
Yeah. The contractor, I talked to him today because they're supposed to pave back in the road cut on BB Road, and I guess they were supposed to do it today, and then the plant broke, so they couldn't, so supposed to do it tomorrow, so. Worst comes to worst, I told Pike, I said, if it's not done, pave it, and we'll just worry about it later, I said, because I don't wanna hold you guys up over 30 feet of pavement, so.
And in regards to Wheeler Round, the manhole cover and everything else for the waters.
They're all set, there's one more ring they gotta put on, and the guy from Pike told me today, all they gotta do is bring it over and drop it on when paved, if it doesn't get done before then, so. Yeah, so everything's all good, you got the risers all on, so, maybe that week or two ago. McComb Shore culvert, I just barely got the email, Kathy printed it off, so I gotta have a second look at it. So I met last Thursday? I think it was last Thursday or Thursday before with Brian down there and Tyler Billingsley, the engineer, looked at the culvert down there. And we've all determined that the culvert needs to be replaced this year. There's not much other choice. It's a pretty sad situation. The bottom's all rotted out on it. And every time the truck goes over it, it just rumbles a little more gravel down off the top of it and washes it down the stream.
This is for that too.
So he was supposed to have a rough estimate for me here, and bear with me because I need to look at the email I just got. Come up with a few, he gave us a few ideas based on initial field measurements.
You got different options at different prices.
Oh, you have a copy too? Okay.
Yeah.
They recommend the box culvert in there.
Open bottom concrete. Box
Option
culvert,
one.
number one. Yeah, number one.
Open bottom.
Oh, okay, down further, I hadn't got that far yet.
Yeah.
Yep. So an open bottom box culvert. The shallow ledge will be visible at the site. Okay, well, he's an engineer, he knows what he's doing, so. The three-side culvert will sit on the footers in the stream cast, bedrock. Under here, lesbian, there's no bottom to rock, the current structure that here is. That was one of the kickers that they didn't know whether they could, they actually, Camp Precast didn't know if they could make us a box cover before the end of the year because they're so busy. They say they could They can roughly get it in there. That, the cost estimate on that would be $3,000, I wish it was $3,000, $300,000 is a rough estimate. Town to provide trucking, materials be purchased by Goodhue, detour efforts and signs, such as legal assistance for easement, landowner discussion, easements, I'll show the necessary sizing and engineer plans. Number 2 is the open bottom aluminum culvert, concrete, three-sided. $6 to 7 weeks, but a little bit time on that. That's $285,000. Not a heck of a lot of difference. Closed bottom plate. Commonly called switch plate.
Question I would have in that area, has there ever been any flooding problems, because of the size of the culvert or anything like that there?
It's a huge culvert now. It's like a 6-foot culvert. It's in there.
So it's
I don't think there's any flooding issues with it, but that's when they size this, they have to plan bigger than what's even there.
Okay, so they've taken that into consideration.
Oh
okay.
yeah, oh that's
Alright.
all there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of issues down there because there's trees that are gotta be taken out to get the culvert in there. You got somebody's driveway and retaining wall, it's literally in the way of where the thing's gotta go, it's tight. So, they're supposed to have a discussion with a couple of the landowners that are butts.
Is this something that we have to do right now?
It's gotta be done this year. I don't dare, it's sinking. It's been patched twice already now because the road keeps
Some of
settling.
this has never been brought before, I
They
mean,
just found it this spring, the culvert started giving out. It was rotting in the bottom.
that's a lot of money to come up with.
Absolutely, I agree. It really stinks because there's nothing out there we can get, there's no grants, there's nothing else other than ARPA funds to pour towards it, other than take out a loan to pay for it, you know? But with my opinion and his opinion, that one of these days it's just gonna keep settling and there's gonna start a sinkhole on top of it, which it's already settling because of what happens. I mean, we were standing the other day in the garbage truck and the whole thing went kaboom. So, I mean, it takes a pounding. And it's only gonna get worse come fall when they chop corn and start running those big trucks down through there and pound it. And whatever else they run over it.
We got a lot of traffic on that road.
You know, we got another culvert that's bigger than that up on Berry Road, but it probably sees 10 cars a day,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, so
That needs to be replaced in some real bad shape, but hopefully we can get a grant down the road to help with that. I was just reading third choice. Old water pipe. Yeah, that's $175,000.
good for 75 years, that's a hell of a lot
Well,
longer, we're gonna be around.
That's what I said to her, yeah. The manufacturer says 100, but I can figure 75. That's what I told him today. He said, well, I get 75 years, he said, well, live both of us then, you know.
But also the lead time on the culvert itself is about 4 weeks,
Yeah.
which could give, you know,
Yep.
if it's something that needs to be done this
So-
year.
Is this an engineered report or a contractor's report?
This is the engineer's report,
Okay.
but he worked with the contractor to get the pricing to get us a rough idea of what it's gonna cost. So
Are
given,
you-
so actually, as far as I read to the end, given the cost estimate, time schedule, and consideration comments above, I would say option 3 would be best for this location.
So this would have to go out for bid?
It doesn't have to go out for bid. We don't usually need grant money on it. There's no grant money on this project.
Yeah, but it's a
Use-
lot of money, James.
But if we were to use the ARPA funds, wouldn't that,
I think you have to have 2 bids on it, but I asked Scott to work with him because Scott's done 2 other culvert projects for us in the town.
Well, I guess
He's
it's a little
always been
dicey,
the best.
James.
I know, I have no problem.
Because there are people that'll come back and say,
Yep.
and, you know, you can't argue with them about it,
No.
because, you know.
Yep.
And he'll come in, he's been cheapest right along and he's done quality work, so
Yep.
I don't think it's gonna be an issue.
Mhm.
But it's just gonna, you know,
Yeah.
probably following protocol is not a bad idea in a situation like this,
Yep.
just to cover our, you know what.
Yeah, I mean, we can ask to make sure if we have to legally, we're legally binded to put it out to bid or not, you know?
You know, legally or not.
Yeah.
You gotta see how it's gonna be perceived by some people in,
Yeah.
in the community.
Yeah.
My suggestion right now is it's gotta be done, is that we put number 3 out for bid right off.
Yeah, well,
With a short timeline.
yeah,
I say.
I talked to Tyler about that, I hadn't had that discussion about putting out the bid, but,
Where's the money coming from?
well, that's the next question, so.
Well, we're fortunate right now, we could borrow some money from, temporarily from the ARPA fund, and probably you
I
can't
don't
do that
think you
either.
can borrow it from.
No, you can't, but we have our line of credit we could use for the intern.
Mhm.
That would probably carry us until.
Will it carry
Until we
until
put in our budget next year.
Yeah,
we can get away with that, with using our credit line
Yeah,
that
we
long?
Yeah,
that's the simplest way.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay, I don't have a problem with
Yeah.
that, you know, I mean, it's gotta be done, that gives us a source. My only issue, and I understand what you're saying, James, but my only issue is something this large.
Oh, that's fine, we can, I'll ask Tyler tomorrow to type up, I mean, he might charge us more for having to go
Well,
through the bid process, whatever.
Might be, in the end, it might be worth the money.
Alright, so that's what we'll do, unfortunately, yeah. I know, and I get it, I understand it, you know.
And put a short timeline on it,
Yeah.
take the August 15th, get it, you know, if this guy, Tyler, can get it done
Yep.
and in the paper this week.
Yep.
Yep,
Exactly, I mean, you got, what, another whole week, so.
yeah,
Yep, by our second meeting in August, have the bids out, yep. Okay.
or we could call a special meeting when the bids come in, if it's before.
Yeah. That's fine.
You know, just to get the process going, so they
Yep.
can order the stuff.
Okay. Yep, okay, the discussion with Tyler tomorrow then.
Alright, then we probably should make some kind of motion here to approve what we're doing.
Well, we gotta make sure we got the right amount, so we're gonna have to wait and see where the bids come in at, so, you know.
Yeah, but we at least ought to make a motion saying that we're going to put this out for bid,
Yep.
and we want the bids back by August 15th,
Okay.
and
Yep, as long as Tyler can do that. What is our next meeting date? You have it up there?
August 2nd.
Okay, what's our second one?
the 16th.
oh,
It is 15.
shit, right there on the money.
We're on the money or I'll guess it. Yep. Okay. Yeah, so if you wanna make a motion, go ahead to,
Alright, then I'll make a motion that, you know, we have James talk with Tyler,
yep.
and I don't know what outfit, is he just an independent, does he have a name for his company? Does-
Yeah, it's,
oh, we got a bill on the.
Tyler Billingsley, oh god, I know we always
East
call him.
Engineering?
Yes, there you
That's
go,
it,
East
East
Tech.
Engineering.
Yep.
Okay, that, we move that we have James, contact the East Engineering and to expedite the process of getting this out to bid.
Okay.
Option number 3.
Option number 3, yep, exactly. Yep. Sounds good.
And we want the bids to be completed by August 15th.
Yeah, well, let's say August 14th, so,
Okay,
14th is
Yeah.
Sunday,
Sunday.
so
yeah,
15th.
let's just say that we want our bids on our table by the 15th, so if he thinks he needs to have them by that Friday before for him to review them or whatever before he sends them to us, then let him make that decision, so.
Okay,
As long as we receive them before our meeting on the
Okay,
15th,
yeah.
that's what we want.
Yeah, okay, then
Okay.
we'll just put it this way then, and the select board will open the bids on August 6th, or August 16th meeting.
15th meeting.
15th, no, 16th.
Oh, it is 16th, sorry.
15th
15th
is
is
Monday.
Monday.
Okay, yeah. Alright. Okay.
I second it.
Alright. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Alright,
Opposed, ayes have it. Okay. They just said the guys changed the culvert out on Campbell's Bay Road today, that was a grant project. Oh, well, I think that's about all I have for highway.
Truck.
The truck, I forgot to ask Kevin today, it should be done, cause they had all the parts back and they were, he was putting it back together and I forgot to ask him tonight before I got here if they got it back or not, but it's supposed to be all set.
And now that you say truck, I actually got Kevin here, I follow up on that other truck, or the right body that belongs on that truck, so now that you put that in mind.
And our highway department isn't at all involved with what they're doing on 78, or we don't have to do anything.
Nope, nothing with us, it's all state, but I do have one thing, I said it was okay, I broke the golden rule, but that's okay. For the guys to bring the backhoe and one of the trucks over to, in August for, touch the truck day or whatever they call it, for the notch camp.
Thank you.
Yep. So, I figured it was fine, so I think it's a fit or something like that.
August 4th, 10:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Swanton Recreation Lower Parking.
Yeah, there you go. See, I knew you'd know that.
We didn't want you to get mad.
Yeah. I already gave the update on Beaver Road, that in Palm Shore Culvert, I guess I didn't want it, was already on here. Should've flipped the page. Expenditures, general orders, big gen mail.
And they are different from what I mailed to you. I had one more check for $7.25 today
on.
for for postage.
I hear a motion to approve general orders from 6/22/22 to 7/19/22.
I will,
A second?
Alright. Take a second look at them.
That 1800 Fourth Street, that was the one, the consultants that
That was.
reviewed all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I saw some legal fees in there, it seemed,
They're in the front pages and legal stuff.
they are,
Yeah.
what is it
I
for?
don't know, auditor's letter, it must be something to do with auditors and.
When you wanted the contract reviewed by Lemieux and
Yep.
it went to Brian Monahan.
Oh, yeah,
to
yeah,
review.
okay.
Okay,
And the other one is our auditors, they send an audit letter to their attorneys because
Yep,
we
okay,
pay them a
alright,
lot of money.
yeah.
Yep.
I just didn't know what they were for, that,
Good question.
All looks good to me, anybody got any questions on that?
that was the only one I had
Alright.
in general.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Highway order 6/22/22 to 7/19/22.
I'll make a motion to accept the highway orders 6/22/22 to 7/19/2022.
second.
Second on that, take 1 second, to look at them.
I think I saw it. Oh, there's something about MBU in there. Right here. Oh, that was the planning one, but I thought there was one the other today.
Well, no, there was not, it was right here on the,
This one I understand because
right
that's,
here, I gotta find it. This one?
yeah, contract renewal.
Right, review, that's when we sent the previous contract of our engineer, so we transferred to Trudell. The previous one we sent to legal to review.
Okay. Yeah. That answers all my questions.
Alright, we're all good. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Library order 6/22 to 7/19/22.
I will,
Move those,
A second?
alright,
short and sweet.
pretty cut and dry, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, ayes have it. Payroll 6/22/22 to 7/19/22.
I do have a question on this.
Okay.
Pam telling you 2 checks every week.
She does 2 jobs.
She's our cleaner too.
She does it.
cleans
Oh, I see, so she, okay, I guess I heard that before, but I forgot. Okay.
Yeah, she does our cleaning here and she
Okay.
will be doing the windows too in the next couple of weeks.
So she does a good job too.
Yeah, she does.
New company on Saturdays.
Yeah, hire an outside outfit, we've been paying a lot more money than.
Oh, yeah, for
100%.
sure, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
So, we're very lucky.
I wasn't
Yeah.
here last meeting, Rosa, she's all done, she's off the payroll.
She's off the payroll, but we can talk about that in executive
Okay.
session, but,
Alright,
but it's a good thing you brought that up. That may be probably just there's something here for probably the executive session, so.
And this is, the payroll orders are both the library and
Didn't
the,
take long,
Oh,
it's like bowling.
alright. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, ayes have it. Those are done. Any unnecessary business?
Oh,
Who made the motion for the payroll orders?
Who made the motion?
I'll make the motion for the payroll
There we
orders.
go. Maybe we did make a motion, sorry. I thought I heard Ed, but okay. There we go, problem solved. Yeah, and then necessary business, correspondence, page 9, email from the Arts Council, I didn't see that.
The gathering of the Realms events
Oh.
that they were hoping to do in
Cancelled,
September has been postponed until next year, as they feel that they need more planning time.
Okay, and I did express to Brian when he told me this, that they need to come back in front of the board again, that, you know, it's not just a 2-year
for the Renaissance
permit.
Festival.
Correct.
Yeah,
It's all.
I agree across the board,
Yep.
because they'll have to come back to the
Absolutely.
board to use the space.
Public comment, anything that's not on the agenda.
Everybody went home.
Okay, I'll sign those after so we can roll along.
But can a select board member make public comment?
Yes.
Absolutely. You got something wrong?
That's not really, you know, they're gonna be spending, I mean, right now, they're doing this on 78 because they have to, right? Because it's extremely dangerous.
Mhm.
It was like this the last time they did it, they had to.
Yep.
They got all kinds of plans to fix that road, the plan they got.
Yep.
Really doesn't
No.
take into account how important that roadway is to this state from an economic standpoint. Also, how important it can be for not just Swanton, but this whole region and the state from a recreational standpoint because of, you know, you got the river there and you got the refuge here. You know, these things are bigger than they used to be. And it doesn't take into account the plan they got right now does not take that into account, and I understand, this is sort of
Well,
similar like this
Well, there you go. They're gonna
NVU.
make a little more access for fishing out by your road there on the end.
Yeah,
So
but
it's,
see, it's really a joke,
Yeah.
okay? I'm just wondering, you know, right now, we do have a governor who has a fair amount of common sense. He might take a look at something like this, if it was brought to his attention. That maybe there's a lot more for the state to gain. Now, you've got St. Johnsbury at one end, Swanton at the other end, okay, so we got this big refuge here. It's gonna be a draw for, I know it would be a really big draw for these people that are using this rail trail. They would love to go down there.
Yeah.
It's not safe to access. What they're proposing is not gonna make it a hell of a lot safer.
They're just fixing it in place, literally.
So I had this crazy thought the other day that,
Here we go.
no,
No.
I think, you know, like maybe, I don't think it's gonna do a lot of good if this comes from just Swanton. But maybe if we could get like St. Albans City, St. Albans Town, P.E.G, maybe even Franklin, you know, these kind of places, all the towns around here.
Albert.
Albert, right, obviously, you know, I'm just, certainly we'd wanna do it.
Yeah.
If we could get all these communities to kind of sign on to something, you know, that states how important this is, and that these things are not being taken into consideration, and the state is gonna be spending millions of dollars, and it's not gonna get anywhere near the return it should.
They're not even widening the road because they don't wanna deal with the other right of ways and swamps and frogs and
They're gonna-
turtles and.
Writing it on somewhat,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I think aren't they doing 4, 12, 12, and 4 from the Albert Bridge until you get to
Something, but it's literally like
And
2
then it's
feet
gonna
wider
go
than, yeah.
3,
So 2 feet on
11,
each
11,
side.
3,
Yeah,
all through the refuge because they can't go into the refuge.
yeah,
Federal land.
I don't
And the
know.
railroad.
I mean, it'd take, somebody'd have to kind of Cornell Bryan's help, you know.
well, they've been planning this for 25 years, so, you know.
Don't take it, don't get excited about that, I mean,
Oh,
you know.
Were you at the meeting when the state guy came
Yeah.
here?
I thought it was
Yeah.
77 or something.
Yeah.
78.
Yeah. And he's probably retired now, cause I remember him telling us he was retired.
Yeah, he was really happy he got this done.
Yeah.
But, and, I mean, I don't blame the guy, but I'm just, you know, I think if there was enough support that they could bring about changes, there's a good possibility that we could get the federal refuge on board if a part of this is being done just
To
to
get
promote
their-
what they have here.
I'm sure the refuge manager would be more than willing to discuss.
Well, then, you know, we should maybe even talk to him. But it would be a lot of running around. I'm willing to bring this up Thursday after we get done talking about, because I'll have to sit on the town, I'll have to sit on the city then.
Yep.
And I guess I'm willing to go to the other select board meetings, but, you know, to set something up. But, you know, Brian would have to get it coordinated when he gets back here.
Yep. I don't know.
And it's just an election year too.
There we go. Yep. Yeah, no,
Well said, Earl.
No, I agree what you're saying, yeah, it's not, you know, it's not pedestrian safe road, it's not bicycle safe road,
No.
you know?
And what got me thinking about, there may be some possibilities, is that one time when they were proposing the new bridge across from Cisco Bay, it wasn't a bridge. They were gonna replace just the drop.
Yeah.
That was their plan. And, oh, we can't change this plan.
Yeah.
Well, what's there today? It only happened because people around here got involved.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would have just fixed the door.
Makes sense. Okay, thank you. Planning Commission meeting Wednesday the 20th, 6 p.m. Town offices, 1 Academy Street. Board of Civil Authority tax appeal abatement hearing on Thursday, July 21st, 5 p.m. here at the town office.
Oh, it should be 5:30.
It does say 5:30.
It does say 5 there, what did I say?
5 p.m.
Oh, sorry, 5:30.
That's okay, just.
Well, it'll be early. Better be seen late. Okay, so yeah, the Board of Civil Authority is meeting here at 5:30 on this Thursday, 21st. DRB meeting is Thursday the 28th, 6 o'clock here at the town offices. Regular select board meeting August 2nd, Tuesday here at town office on Academy Street. And I need a motion to go in executive session, discuss personnel.
I move.
I move that we find that we enter executive session for the select board to receive contract or confidential personnel information for which the premature disclosure of it to the general public would clearly place the select board and others at a substantial disadvantage.
Well, second hand,
Get
yes.
a second on that. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
I move that based on the just made findings, the premature disclosure would place the select board and others at a substantial disadvantage. We enter executive session.
I'll second that too.
Second on that. All right. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We're now in executive session at, oh gosh, 8:22. Entertain a motion to come out of executive session?
Recording in progress.
I'll move. All right.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Action taken, none. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Yep, a second.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We're now adjourned.